Every soul on this earth has an expiry date, not as punishment, not as some cosmic cruelty designed to rob life of meaning, simply as the terms of the arrangement. The conditions under which every single human being who has ever drawn breath has lived, whether they acknowledged those conditions or not. 70 years if fortune is generous, perhaps less, perhaps a little more, but not forever, never forever. And yet most of us live most of the time in most of our decisions, as though the clock is not running, as though there will always be more time to become who we meant to become, more time to say what we kept meaning to say, more time to stop chasing things that vanish like a change in the weather and start paying attention to what is actually standing in front of us. That assumption, that there is always more time, is perhaps the most expensive belief a human being can carry, and almost all of us carry it. What you brought and what you take. You came into this world with nothing in your hands, no possessions, no title, no reputation carefully constructed over decades of striving, just breath. Just the raw, unformed fact of your existence arriving into a world that had been here long before you and would continue long after. And when you leave, however that leaving comes, whenever it comes, you take nothing with you. Not one thing, not the house, not the achievements, not the relationships you poured years of yourself into, not the money, not the status, not the version of yourself that you worked so hard to make the world respect and admire. No king has ever taken his crown beyond the threshold of death. Think about that. The men and women who commanded armies, who reordered the geography of entire civilizations, who made the known world tremble at the sound of their name. They left the same way the forgotten leave, quietly, with nothing in their hands. The crown stays, the throne stays, the empire eventually crumbles. But even before it crumbles, it has already been left, already abandoned by the one who built it, handed off or fought over or simply left to stand empty. The richest man who ever lived is gone. The most powerful empire ever constructed is gone. The most feared ruler who ever walked this earth is gone. And what they leave behind is not their power, not their wealth, not the fear they inspired in their time. What they leave behind is the lesson. The same lesson repeated across every century in every culture. In every language human beings have ever used to tell each other stories about what matters. You cannot take it with you, not one piece of it. A world you were never made for. Here is what makes this more than just a sobering fact about mortality. It is not simply that life ends. It is that we spend the majority of our living hours attached, desperately, anxiously, sometimes violently, to a world we were never actually made for in the first place. Think about the things that occupy most of your mental and emotional energy on any given day. The pursuit of security, the management of reputation, the navigation of other people's opinions of you, the accumulation of things that signal to the world and to yourself that you are enough, that you have made it, that your place here is legitimate and solid and permanent. But none of it is permanent. Not the security, not the reputation, not the things. And somewhere beneath the noise of all that pursuing and managing and accumulating, a part of you already knows this, has always known this. The anxiety that never quite goes away, even when everything is going well. That low hum of unease that persists beneath the surface of even the most comfortable life. That is the sound of a soul that was built for something beyond this world, straining against the limitations of having become entirely absorbed in it. We were not made for permanent residence here. We were made for passing through, And there is an enormous difference between a life lived as though this is your final destination and a life lived with the quiet, clear awareness that you are a traveler. That this, all of this, is the journey, not the arrival. The graves of the greatest. The graves of the greatest have already been filled. Sit with that for a moment. Every throne ever built has been left alone. Every palace constructed by hands that believed, in some secret chamber of ambition, that what they were building would last, has either crumbled into ruin or stands now as a monument not to its builders' permanence but to their absence. We visit these places. We stand in the ruins of ancient civilizations and feel something, or a particular quality of stillness that ordinary modern life rarely produces. And what we are feeling, though we may not name it this way, is the weight of impermanence made visible. The physical evidence of the fact that nothing built by human hands, no matter how magnificent, no matter how seemingly indestructible, outlasts the relentless patience of time. And yet we return from those ruins and go back to our lives and resume the business of building as though the lesson did not apply to us. As though we are the exception, as though our particular story, our particular accumulation of things and status and carefully defended identity, ends differently. It does not end differently. The most feared ruler who ever walked this earth returned to dust. The wealthiest person in all of recorded history returned to dust. Every empire, every dynasty, every civilization that once looked at itself and saw something permanent and essential and irreplaceable, returned. Every single one. And so will you. And so will I. Not as a threat, as a fact. As the one fact that, if taken seriously, has the power to completely reorganize the way a person chooses to spend the time between their arrival and their return. Just passing through. We are just passing through. This was never our permanent home. And the moment that truth lands, not as an abstract concept filed somewhere in the mind, under things I technically know, but as something genuinely felt, something that changes the quality of your attention from one day to the next, the whole orientation of a life begins to shift. Because if you are only passing through, then the frantic energy of accumulation starts to look different. The desperate need for permanence, for security, for guaranteed outcomes, for the assurance that what you have built will not be taken from you, starts to feel like a misunderstanding of the assignment. Like someone who has been given a brief and beautiful holiday in a place of extraordinary richness and spent the entire time worrying about the return journey. You are here. You are here right now, with whatever measure of time remains to you. Unknown, unguaranteed, not promised past this breath. And the question that impermanence asks of every one of us, the question that cuts beneath all the noise and all the striving and all the carefully maintained illusions of permanence, is simply this. What are you building right now? What is worth building? Not what are you accumulating? Not what are you defending or protecting or anxiously trying to hold in place? But what are you actually building in the time you have been given, in the days that are not promised, in this brief and luminous passage between arrival and return? Because not everything built is lost when the builder leaves. The crown goes, yes. The empire crumbles. The bank account closes. But something else, something less visible and more lasting, has a different relationship with time. The way you treated people when there was nothing to gain from treating them well. The honesty you chose when dishonesty would have been easier and safer. The courage you summoned to be genuinely yourself in a world that constantly offered you more comfortable alternatives. The love you gave without keeping score, without conditions, without the silent expectation of return. The moments in which you are fully present, not performing presence, not simulating attention while the mind was elsewhere, but actually, completely, irreversibly here. These things do not fit in a grave. They do not get left behind the way a crown gets left behind. They move through the people you touched and the moments you inhabited, and they continue, quietly, without announcement, long after the name on the headstone has been worn smooth by rain. That is what is worth building, not the monument, the meaning. We all return, every single one of us, the powerful and the forgotten, the celebrated and the invisible, the ones who spent their lives grasping and the ones who learned, slowly and with great difficulty, to hold things loosely. We all return to the same place, the same silence, the same dust. That is not the tragedy. The tragedy would be arriving at that return having spent the entire journey trying to make the journey permanent, having spent your 70 years, your precious, unrepeatable, utterly singular 70 years, chasing things that were never going to stay, clinging to a world you were never made for, running as though this world is forever when every piece of evidence available to you was always pointing quietly in the other direction. You were not made for permanent residence here. You were made for passing through. And passing through done consciously, done with open eyes and open hands and a heart that is genuinely present to what is actually here, is not a diminished version of living. It is the fullest version available. Go lightly, love genuinely, build what lasts beyond your leaving, and when the time comes to set it all down, the titles, the fears, the carefully constructed story of who you were and what you owned and what you achieved, set it down without regret. You came with nothing, you return with nothing, but in between, in that brief, blazing, utterly unrepeatable passage, you had the chance to be completely, fearlessly, and unapologetically alive. That was always the whole point.